Missing someone, love with all your heart. Missing someone, love with heart.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a really exciting transformation today because this client came in with pretty much just virgin hair, and her dream was to do like a really bright blue with some purple in it. So today we're gonna do like a global lightening on her. I'm gonna lift her completely solid from root to ends, and this is going to be a pretty long transformation. I'm going to try and get through as much of it as I can in detail so that you guys know exactly what I did on her hair, and then also share with you guys the aftercare and how she can maintain this color at home as well. So for her lightening, I'm going to be starting in the front. And for my products, I am using the Schwarzkopf Blonde Me Lightener. And I'm going in with a first bowl of 6 and 20. I want this first bowl to be the weakest because this is where I'm starting essentially. I do have my assistant Jen working with me and helping me throughout this process. Definitely though, if I was working by myself, I would have probably started with 6 volume or something a little bit lower, maybe even add like some Olaplex in it to kind of slow it down. But since I have Jen helping me today with my client's transformation, I went ahead and just started off with 6 and 20, and then later I'll let you guys know when we bumped that up to 20 volume. So for this technique, I am going ahead and pretty much taking a very thin slice of hair and placing it right over the previous section. For this technique, I'm not using too many foils, so this is going to lighten everything that is beyond the root. I'm trying to stay off root, specifically taking like maybe ½ an inch or 3/4 of an inch of root left there, so that the mids and ends can process, because everyone knows that that root area, if you do that first, that will lighten very quickly because of the body heat and the heat zone that is there from the root. So we are going off the root first and just laying the hair right on top of the previous section. And so I find that this technique is a lot quicker than doing a full platinum card. I'm not saying a platinum card is wrong, but I just find that this is a little bit quicker, and if I need to relighten the hair, it's very easy for me to do so. So once Jen and I have finished the front, I went ahead and started to apply in the back, and I try to do that very first back section together on one foil, and I try to use the 6 and 20 formulation all the way up to maybe above the ear, and then from there on up for this rest of the back section all the way to the top of the crown, I am going to switch over to some 20 volume. So this part gets kind of messy. I already applied the root to the front part, so I applied the root to the front section as soon as I was done applying the back section, and I applied the back section just like I did in the front, taking very thin sections, just laying it on top, and I went ahead and did the root of the front, and so now I'm going in and doing the root of the back. And for this root application, I am still just using the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf 20 volume. It's really important when you're doing this part too to check in on your client, making sure that their scalp is okay, because sometimes this part can be a little spicy on the scalp or just a little uncomfortable. There will be rare times too that some clients can't take this part, and if they do ever have some sort of weird reaction or it burns way too much, you'll have to stop and rinse it out. So I always like to double check at this point, making sure that everything is okay and the burning sensation, if there is any at all, is very bearable. Another thing I'd like to add is that as I'm applying this root part, I am going in and resaturating any warm pieces like on the ends that I feel need a little bit of extra fresh lightener. This is going to help even out everything. And then once I'm done applying the root here, I'm just going to let this completely sit at room temperature, no heat, and just keep checking on it every now and then until everything looks pretty much even. I do sometimes put a bag over their head, like a plastic bag, to make sure that the lightener doesn't dry out, or you can do a shower cap, whatever you like, just to ensure that the lightener doesn't dry out, because if the lightener does dry out, that's when it stops working. So you want to make sure that everything is nice and moist, so that the lightener keeps lightening the hair. So this is what my client's hair looked like. She was probably processing for maybe about like 30 to 45 minutes after my last application for the roots. And this is what it looked like when I felt like it was ready. Since we're going to be doing such a bright toned blue, I wasn't super worried about her getting to a level 10 platinum. Our goal today was at least a level 9 so that the colors can show, and that gives us a little bit of cushion so that we can relighten next time and keep her hair super healthy. So after the lightener was ready, I went ahead and rinsed it with some cooler water, just to kind of ease the scalp a little bit. I don't like to use hot water because, again, the scalp is going to be very sensitive at this point. So you want to be extra careful and make your clients feel as comfortable as possible. So once this was done, I went ahead and applied some purple shampoo. I used the Pulp Bright Barcelona purple shampoo to kind of pre-tone and cancel out some of the yellow, since we are doing a blue. I'm not going to be using a real toner to actually pre-tone her, and I'll explain later as to why I'm doing that, even though I am using a blue color for her. So after the shampoo, I am going to be using the K18 intensive repair mask treatment, and I didn't do any conditioner because this goes into the hair, kind of replaces conditioner, and then you leave it in for about 4 minutes. And what this product does is it reverses any type of damage that happened during the whole lightening session in just 4 minutes. And I've been using this on majority of my clients, and I so far love it so much. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from a lot of my clients that they love it. And some of the things that I really like about it is that you just leave it in for 4 minutes, so you don't have to wait too long for it to work like some other products. I feel like most of the time, if you're doing some sort of treatment, you kind of have to leave it on for at least like 10 minutes or so. So 4 minutes definitely cuts down on that time. And in the salon too, it does save me some time because I don't have to condition them, and I can just put this treatment on, let it sit for 4 minutes, and then style as usual. Or you can do it before like your toning service, so that you can sometimes a toner takes better on the hair, especially if the hair is a bit on the porous side. I find that it does help with the toner when the toner is applied onto porous hair after using this hair mask. So here's what my client's hair looked like right after we had blow dried it with the K18 and a bit of like heat protectant. I used some Ghost Oil by Verb just to quickly blow dry into her hair, and I feel like this technique came out super even considering how dark she was. She got super light, and also remember, I did not tone her hair, so this is what it looks like just as raw lift with just some Barcelona purple shampoo. So I'm going to start off with basing her with my darker shade of purple. So my darker formula is Velvet, Elixir, Tragic, and some Blue Muse from the Pulp Bright Semi line. And then later for my medium shade purple, I pretty much mixed those same things, just a lighter version of it, adding more Elixir than Velvet. And then later you'll see my blue formula was Tragic, Blue Muse, and then since I didn't fully pre-tone her hair with an actual toner and there is still some yellow on her hair, I always like to add a little bit of purple into my blue formulations so that they stay true blue. If I don't do that, then they'll turn a little teal just because her hair is a bit on the yellow side. So I always like to do that instead of pre-toning because I find that that saves me a lot of time. So once I was done applying her darker root shade, I went ahead and started applying the medium shades. So I asked my client what color she wants to see around her face, and so we did the purple because I felt like the purple would fade a little bit nicer around her face because blue does tend to fade a bit on the greener side. So I'm going in, and the way that we did her placement is I split her hair down the middle, and I'm going in and taking vertical sections down the head. When I'm taking these vertical sections, I'm making sure that my blue sections are a little bit thicker than my violet sections. This is so that I see a bit more blue than violet on the mids and ends because essentially she did want to have a bit more blue and then with hints of violet throughout. Also, another thing is I asked my client where she wanted to see the chunks of color. The picture that she originally showed me, the placement was going horizontally up the head, and I told her if we did that type of placement, she would only see the blue and purple chunks if it was curled. So I asked her if she normally curls her hair or leaves it straight, and she told me that she normally wears it straight. So to see the chunks of blue and purple when the hair is straight as well, we went ahead and decided to do vertical sections rather than horizontal sections up the head. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. I was so obsessed with the way that this turned out. I really feel like the blue really stood out and popped because I added in that Blue Muse, which is part of the Pole Bright Semis Neon collection. So adding in just a little bit of that Blue Muse to each of the formulas, I feel like made this whole look really pop. And my client was so happy. I feel like she was so in love with her color, and it made me so happy to see how much she loved it and just creating what her dream was to come to life. Honestly, was probably the best feeling. And so I mixed up a color bomb for her to take home so that she can refresh this color, and we did more of a purpley blue because we wanted something that would help cancel out some of the green as it starts to fade out, because we all know that blue does fade green. So the maintenance on this, typically if she wanted to maintain the solid tone, I would have her come back in about 6 weeks to touch up her root, but I feel like she's gonna love the fade of it, and to do something a little bit on the lower maintenance side, we'll probably end up highlighting her roots so that they can grow out nicely against her dark natural color. Alrighty guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this transformation as much as I did. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and I will talk to you guys next week.